We'll start off with the member roll call. Secretary.
I don't know if I have a list here. But let's see. Christopher, I don't think he's here yet. Jim, I don't think Jim is here. Either. Is Christopher here? Is Jim here? They're not here. Gabriella.
Here.
Patsy, I think, is here, but she's muted.
I'm here.
Trey, I think, is here. He was here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, there he is. Trey's here. Berta,
I'm here.
Byron.
Hey, I'm here. I'm here via phone.
Byron's here. Jim, I don't think he's here. Tati.
Here.
I'm here. Tori.
Here.
Jakob.
I'm here.
Crystal.
Here.
Avery.
I'm here. I'm having some camera difficulties, but I'm here.
Did I miss anybody? I think that's all.
Is Scott here?
Scott, I think Scott is here.
Hey, Scott.
Scott.
Hey, man. Hey, everybody.
So that is that it? Did he miss anybody? Did we miss anybody?
No, that was everyone.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jim and Chris are not here, and I think everybody else is here.
Okay. We'll catch them up if they come in. I want to welcome, before we go to the next, I want to welcome our new member, Scott Phillips. Scott's the field office director for the U.S. Committee for Refugees and Immigrants. He's also a member of the new Hispanic and Immigrant Affairs Board. Is that correct, Scott? You're on mute.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Welcome to the team.
Welcome.
I'm happy to be here.
All right, so next is to approve the agenda. Anyone have any? I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Hi.
Second, are you second, Tati?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Opposed?
dissent? Opposed? Okay, ayes have it. Thank you. We'll go to the minutes for December. Everyone's had the opportunity to review the minutes, I hope. There was only one thing that I caught in the minutes that we can update is Dr. Caesar's name is not, we need to, the spelling, the A's missing. One of the A's is missing.
Uh-oh.
I know. I just saw it.
Sorry.
Okay. Other than that, does anybody have any other items for the minutes? So I'll take a motion to approve the minutes with the one update that will be done for Dr. Caesar's name.
I second that.
So moved.
Any opposed? No opposed? Approved? All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Public comment?
Who seconded that?
Jacob.
Okay.
Public comment? Marquita?
I didn't receive any requests for public comment this month.
So Marquita, City Council. Council Fort, we have any update on?
No, I haven't heard anything from her or her office or her staff, I mean.
Okay, chairman report. All right, we have a lot to get through, so I'm going to go through this kind of quickly. The major thing I want to do is it seems like it's forever, but before the holidays in December, right after our meeting in December, we hosted the Hrc Statewide Meeting. And I just want to give a round of applause to Dr. Caesar and the Equity and Inclusion staff for the work that was done. We look like the shining star to the rest of the North Carolina state HRC boards that attended. The meeting was well attended, and thank you to those on this board or this commission that were able to spend the time and attend. I don't know if is it recorded that people can see it? Marquita, do you know that? I think it is.
I don't think we recorded it.
Okay.
I can double check, but I don't remember us doing that.
Okay. So the new city manager, Adams David, did the kickoff for our team. It was really, she was very good. Councilor Fort attended and gave a few words. I gave a brief overview on the Raleigh HRC and what we do. I've noticed going to these meetings, and remember these meetings are quarterly, that not all HRCs in the different counties have the same mission. So I gave a quick overview of what we do. But Dr. Caesar did a presentation on the history of equity and inclusion, like the year and a half or almost 2 years that she's been with us. And then on the Raleigh Police Advisory Board. And I believe that presentation is probably what most of you saw in your orientation. I think she was going to use that. So you've seen most of that information. It was very well received. Also, the commissioner, the North Carolina HRC chair, Commissioner Rowan, also spoke, and he spoke about more collaboration between the, I'll call us the local HRCs to the state, because there's a state board that meets. And this state board meets, I guess they meet every other month. Kind of watching them, it's not every month. Their next meeting is on January 28th, and they have a website that you can go to if you're interested. Since it's on Zoom and you have the opportunity to listen in, I'm going to try to listen in. I've never been able to make one of their meetings, but I'm going to try to listen in. The next HRC statewide, that means all the state, all the locals, I'll call us locals, HRCs, that happens in the quarter, and it'll happen sometime first quarter. So that'll come up, I would say the end of February or March. You'll get an email from Jean Troy, that's the program manager for the North Carolina HRCs. So just look out for that. I forget, he mentioned who was hosting next, but I don't have it in my notes.
Salisbury.
Salisbury, thank you. Oh, welcome. Hi, Dr. Caesar. Okay. The city, I'll just mention a couple of things at city council meetings that might be of interest. City council work session on the 12th, just recently. Mickey Fern, the consultant that was hired, gave a proposal with community engagement strategies. He gave the city council, I think 10 strategies. It's a good little presentation. Maybe we can find that and send that out to folks. On the 5th, the city council did a revision of the city code, city policy on non-discrimination for the city boards, grants, and contracts. So they added a section, they added a little, some more language to this. Unfortunately, they just talked about the language. Well, the attorney read the language. I don't have it to be able to read to everyone, but we'll get that when it's actually produced, and send that out to everyone. So, and there was discussion on the city council doing some work on going further around discrimination in the city of Raleigh. So I know that I've been reading, and I'm sure you all have been reading, some other cities in North Carolina are doing some work around LGBT rights. And I didn't mention this last meeting, but I did attend an event on LGBT issues around housing a few months ago. That was extraordinary for me to open my eyes that people still are actually living in some things we got to work on in the city of Raleigh. That's all I'll say. Okay, that's it for me. Any questions? Yeah, the only thing else I have is new business. All right, so we'll go with staff. So Dr. Caesar?
Yes, good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Good to see everybody in the new year. New energy, excitement, hopefully get over this little hump politically and with COVID, and hopefully we can have a productive year. But Mary, that was a great segue into the couple of things that I wanted to talk about, two things specifically. One was the non-discrimination policy that the city is currently updating. They're adding the language sexual identity and sexual orientation to the existing ordinance. Councilor Melton has asked that the MEI, which is the Municipal Equality Index, move to the Economic Development and Innovation Committee. And I'll be doing a presentation on the 26th of January at 1:30 p.m. in that committee. And we're just going to give an overview of what that index is. And the whole point of it is to compare cities to see how welcoming they are to the LGBTQ community, and what are some of the things that Raleigh is doing specifically to target residents. So that presentation will be on the 26th at 1:30. Every year we get scored on this, and I'd say every year our score goes up. That means we're doing better. But Councilor Melton wants to really focus in on this index for this year, hopefully to increase economic development opportunities. So if more folks believe that Raleigh is truly a welcoming city, we'll get more folks to move here and start businesses here. So that's really the crux of it going into that committee. We typically give a presentation here. We'll probably follow up after it goes through committee and some more feedback from legal, from the police department, human resources, and some other departments. We'll follow up here with a presentation to go over the 2020 results with you all. I just wanted to let you know that that was coming. In terms of community conversations, Shaw is still working on that. They have formed their steering committee. I have made my nominations for the advisory committee, so folks will be contacted if you were selected to be a part of that very shortly. In terms of our department, we are moving at the speed of light. We've got a lot of things going on. We're expanding our MWBE section. So I don't know if you all remember Pam Adderley. She's been on these calls a couple of times. She's recently transitioned to our MWBE program. And we will have a position opening up, I would say probably at the beginning of February, also in the MWBE program, but we'll also have a focus on equity. In terms of our assistant city manager search, the position for assistant city manager is posted, and it's out there for folks to see. If anyone knows anyone or is interested, just want to make you all aware of that. I don't have any further updates.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions of Dr. Caesar? Okay, Marquita?
Okay, thank
Actually,
you.
I have a question.
Yeah, I have a question.
I have a question for Dr. Caesar real quick.
Yeah.
Dr. Caesar, any development on the Compassion Committee? Did that move forward? It's called Compassion something, but I'm not sure what it is.
So the Mayor's Committee for Compassion was a group that is being led by our immediate past mayor, Nancy McFarland. And their purpose is to gain a designation of a compassionate city for Raleigh. They have not met, I would say, since last March, April, same as most folks, and they do not plan to reconvene until, COVID kind of settles down. They're a faith-based group and they would like to meet face-to-face, so I don't think they'll be meeting for a while, but I think the goal is still there and they're still committed to doing the work. It's just going to be a while till we can get the vaccine distributed and all that good stuff.
Since I'm having a problem with my eyes, if you want to, if people could use the raised hands in participant window, I'll be able to see that. Because I'm not
Hey,
gonna be able to see you raise your hand, I don't think.
This is Byron. I have a quick question.
Sure, Byron.
I was listening to one of the city council meetings, and they had mentioned the African American advisory potentially, and we was referenced, and I didn't necessarily know what that meant exactly when we were brought up in the conversation. It seems as though we was referenced in regards to putting together the Police Advisory Board, as well as the Hispanic and Immigrants Affairs Board. And I know some of that work was mentioned with us, but we didn't necessarily do here in HRC. So I just want to know what exactly did that mean in regards to us? And like, I know Dr. Caesar mentioned the conversations with Shaw. So will all that work take place with Shaw? And
No.
that's how we'll be involved? Or
No.
what does that look like? Why,
Okay, let me give a shot at it. So the HRC as our mission is to look at issues and make recommendations, advise and make recommendations to City Council. So in the past, we have made recommendations to City Council, which in turn, and meaning that, and I'm not going to say our recommendations were the only recommendations. There were recommendations that came in from other places, but we made a recommendation for the Police Advisory Board. And then we also did some work around committee, going out to the community and hearing what the community said. So the HRC was involved in some aspects of making a recommendation for the Police Advisory Board. We also made did some work around listening to having a listening session that then those recommendations, we develop recommendations around the Hispanic and immigrant community. And our recommendation for that actually was to have two separate boards or commissions, whatever they decided to do, but two boards, two separate. That was our recommendation. Now they took that recommendation with some other input that they got from other various places, and they came up with the board they have in place that actually that Scott's actually a part of, right?
Sorry, is this, Mary, this is not, you guys already made the recommendations? The diversity committee was not.
No,
Yet.
You're not, okay. This was done like 2 years ago. This was before us, okay? This was before us.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that work was done before the Police Advisory Board. I came in and they were working on that. They were making recommendations, they were working on it. And so this is all pre-us, but we did have some input on that. Byron, the conversation that you're mentioning, I also listened to that. There was two there were two persons that called in and requested to the city council an African-American board. After that conversation, or after their request, the mayor then mentioned the HRC as a sounding board. She actually said, we have an HRC and they could be used as a sounding board to discuss this issue. And then she mentioned the work that Shaw's doing. So that is two separate situations. It's two separate. She was listing off things to do after she heard those requests. The third thing she mentioned was for the city manager to have a conversation with the two residents that made the call. So she just listed off 3 opportunities to move that initiative forward, or to, start talking about it, using it as a sounding board, just like and using the example of the work we have done in the past. Does that help?
Yes, it did. Thank you, Mary.
Yeah. All right, and I'm sure we are going to hear, we'll have that discussion in February.
I've also got a question. This is Jakob speaking. Real quick, Mary, I know you touched on like housing and how you you went to an event over the summer or just a few months ago about housing, and it kind of reminded me about what city council is doing. I don't know if HRC, if we have anything to do with it, but I know city council voted to approve with what they call DSP Kane. Have y'all heard about how they motion to approve DSP Kane on them asking for I think it was $300 million or something over stuff in Southeast Raleigh. And I don't know, I personally have heavy concerns over it. I don't know if I should do we have any power to influence the city council, or do we have anything to provide our own insights? Because I am personally I've looked into it, and they haven't mentioned what they might do with affordable housing, or if they even plan to offer it. And so I don't know, that's what kind of was running through my mind. So if Ms. Caesar or Mary, if you guys want to answer that for me.
Well, we have a housing underneath equity and inclusion. We have a housing board, right? For me, I know this is an issue for a lot of us, are looking at it and watching it. I don't know if it comes through us or it comes through the housing board. Who is better to handle that? Because we don't want to step on toes. And I don't know, maybe we talk to them and see what they're doing around this, and we can be supportive to what they're doing. But I don't want to be, I don't see us as being the push on this. I see the housing and maybe us supporting that. Okay. But I'll take whatever, I'll listen to others' input, but that's my input. Okay.
Sorry, Mary, this particular subject is, Jakob, there's a lot of information on it, and they are including about $2 million in the project for affordable housing. Okay. It's very complicated, and there's so many different pieces, but it's definitely worth looking into and see if you have any concerns. But there's so many people and groups in on it. And, I think there's tons of people already pulling, for speaking up on behalf of affordable housing, gentrification, all that stuff. So, but I can send you the link if you want, but I know they are including a lot of units for the Kane, the Downtown South project. I only know that because I live on this side. Okay. I kind of know the details, but I'll send you the link if you want.
Please do. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Dr. Caesar, did you want to add anything, or we'll go to Marquita?
No, actually, I think you spoke to it well. we have a fair housing hearing board who is on top of these issues, and they're working with some other groups to, express their thoughts and concerns about this. I think the best thing that this commission could do is support the efforts of the Fair Housing Hearing Board.
Yeah. And, you have the opportunity to go and listen to their meetings. I try to listen to other, especially the boards and commissions underneath the equity and inclusion group, to listen to what they're getting ready to do. Marquita, let's move on.
Okay, and just one last note on that. I'm going to put in the Fair Housing Hearing Board meeting information or the link to it.
Good.
So they meet next Wednesday at 12:30. So,
Okay.
if you all are able to attend, that would be great. The only update that I have is a part of the reminder that I sent out. There prior meetings, there was some conversation about having a shared space for you all to, instead of me sending out 10,000 documents via email, I share a space so you can house it there. So I sent in that reminder a link to, we're going to be using SharePoint through Microsoft. And if you have not clicked on it and just kind of taken a look inside to see how it runs, if you can do that, because I assume that everyone will be able to use it, but everyone may not be able to, or you may have questions in regards to navigating. So I want to put out there, if you all want me to schedule a Zoom and we can go through it for those that need it, that I can do so. Okay, Ms. Patsy's like, yes. Okay, yeah. I can definitely do that. And we can walk through it together because it's a secure location. We use it within the city, and I was able to grant access to you all to use it. So that'll be a great place where we can just share information, put everything there, and it's updated in real time. So I'll go ahead and get something on the calendar and send out a doodle request or whatnot and get that scheduled for you all.
Yeah, see who wants to attend.
Interest. Okay, absolutely. Yeah. But that's all I have for you all. Thank you.
Okay. All right, let's go to committees. We'll start with grants. I don't know, the co-chair, Gabriella or Keith?
Sure. Keith, I took some notes. I'm happy to review these, and then if you have any input.
Sure, sounds good.
Okay. So the grants committee, we met via Zoom last night at 6 o'clock. We had pretty much everyone in attendance. Crystal, Avery, Jim, Tori, Marquita, and then Keith and I both as co-chairs. In the meeting, we reviewed the Human Services grants timeline and expectations of committee members. The Human Services grants are all due January 22nd. After all the applications are due, Marquita and staff are going to compile all of those and get them to the grants committee. Each grants committee member will review 4 to 6 grants, depending on how many 4 to 6 applications, depending on how many actually come through. And we will review those on the Microsoft SharePoint. Is that right, Marquita? Okay, thank you. From February 3rd to February 16th, we'll be reviewing those. And then beginning on February 16th, February 18th, and February 23rd, we will actually be having interviews with each of the agencies that applied for grants. These interviews will be about 20 minutes, and we'll be grading the applicants on some type of scorecard rubric that Marquita is going to send out. One of the discussion points that we talked about last night that Keith brought up was that last year, one of the questions on the scorecard is do the agencies have a diverse board? And what became clear last night is that the diversity, what constitutes diversity, and that definition of diversity has not been explicitly defined. And so we as a committee are going to work on defining what diversity means to us and why that's important. And that's all I had. One question I did have was, Mary, you mentioned that the city of Raleigh, they're adopting this new non-discrimination policy.
Actually, that policy goes back to, what they say, 1969. It's just been revised. It's just a continuing you want to see that?
Yeah, it might be helpful
yeah.
To take a look at the verbiage that they use.
Yep. Okay. I would like to get the one that is complete, because the one I have is before the new verbiage came in. So Marquita, if you could see if you can get the one that the attorney, that they approved at the meeting.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, and send that out to the grants committee and myself. The one I have is not it's the version she was sharing during the meeting. And then she gave the news, you know, and she read it. She didn't it wasn't written down. So I'm sure it's updated by now. That was the 5th. So, okay, we'll get that to you.
Awesome.
All right, thank you so much.
Of course, thank you.
Keith, did you have anything?
No, that
Okay.
she covered it.
Sorry.
Gabriella covered it. Thanks.
Okay.
I'm trying to take notes.
Okay,
I'm
sorry.
trying to take minutes.
All right, I hear you. Communication relations, communication. I love communications. Community relations and celebration committee. Marquita, I'm not Marquita. Berta.
366 channels.
Did we lose her?
No, I'm here. There's a little bit of feedback. I don't know who I'm hearing in the background. Somebody has their mic, sorry. So this is for the celebration community relations, right, Mary? Mary?
Sorry, yes.
Okay, so we're just going to update you briefly, everyone. We talked about, we met a couple times, and there were some other people involved, but mainly Mary and I and Tati, and I believe Byron, you're on there, I believe. So we met, we talked about these are just ideas. We really want your input about how much to contribute and how the programs are. So last year or the prior years, what we've done is the Mayor Unity Day, which we changed to, remember last year we did the African American celebration in February, which was a great success, thanks to the help of Marquita and Dr. Caesar and their staff. So we wanted to build on that. We would have done this again. However, with COVID and not being able to get together, we really couldn't do that. So the idea was to have several events and reach out to the community as opposed to having the banquet and the February event. So we thought, well, how can we do this throughout the year? And what we came up with, and please feel free to jump in, give us ideas after this little summary. What we wanted to do is have the budget that we used last year plus some to contribute to this upcoming event, $12,000. And we were thinking about having 2 different things in February. One would be like a drive-through event where we would basically have a bag of supplies that a bunch of other people are in on this, not just us. There's some from the Marquita, help me out, from the, which two other entities were there, the housing?
Right, so all the other boards and commissions will participate. So yeah, the Fair Housing Hearing Board, Substance Use Advisory Commission, Police Advisory Board, Hispanic
Everything
Committee.
that's under the
All the boards and commissions.
Yeah, so we are all contributing, but we're leading the effort for this particular project. And so what we're going to do is hopefully we come up with a couple of dates to help out, especially in these cold months with the COVID. We need all those PPEs and things like that and supplies. So we came up with 2 dates. If you guys are okay with it, we'll have to vote on it in just a second. But it'll be Saturday, February 20th, and March, February 6th, on Saturday mornings. So the idea is the first batch of people that we can help would be, let's say, for example, 1,000 people, or let's say 500 families that would drive up, and we, along with the help of the other commissions, load up their cars, and then they drive away. And the supplies and all that stuff is being worked on. I believe Demetrius is putting a list together of everything. And so the second portion of that would be trying to reach out people who don't have a house, the displaced and homeless people. And we would go out actually in the community. And they, again, Demetrius is coming up with, the list of places that we can go to and distribute these items, because not everybody has a car to do the drive up. And so those are the idea. We're thinking about the first location would be, the first date would be Southeast Raleigh, YMCA. I think that's what they came up with. And hopefully we'll service about 500 families with that. And the list of items will all be worked out. Dr. Caesar also suggested we offer some sort of food, warm food for them on the way. We'll figure all that out. But mainly the idea tonight is to kind of talk about budget, dates are okay, vote on that, and then we can work out our logistics and the details. Let's see if I'm forgetting anything. Yeah, they're still coming up with ideas. Those are the things, timeline, blah, blah, blah. There is, Mary and I and Demetrius are going to work on some sort of timeline, like coming up with a list of by January 16th, example. We're going to do like a small little timeline to put together and keep everybody posted that way. For example, packaging the bags, right? If we want to put together bags, so who's going to be on what, who's going to do what? We can do volunteers outside our group. For example, let's say Sean, not to put you on the spot, but let's say Sean wants to help, help fill up bags. We should let other people be involved in the community and help us fill all these things. Marquita will be buying or mainly in charge of getting the supplies. The office of HRC will be involved in buying the supplies. Does that make a little bit of sense, or is that too much?
So what we need to vote on
budget.
The budget work for HRC to contribute to this event or this initiative, because it's going to be a bigger initiative. Right now on the budget, we have available to us $22,000. And that's $22,000 taking us to 6/30/21. So everyone understands that how much we're going to use before 6/30/21.
Sorry, and just to add, Mary, there's also going to be other events. This is not the only event. So if we did contribute 12,000 now, we may need another 12,000 towards the end of the year for something else. So just to keep that in mind.
So this is we came up with $12,000. We had in reserve $7,600, and our budget for this year was $14,600. So we only used half of our budget last year. So this would be coming out of the reserve fund that we had we brought over from last year, and some of our budget for this year. So $12,000 is what we're proposing, what the committee is proposing for our contribution for these two initiatives to support citizens in Raleigh. One is primarily looking at families, and the second is looking at displaced people or homeless. That's like in the nutshell. So does anybody have any comments? Do we do the vote now, or do we do it afterwards?
We got to discuss it first, Mary.
No, I'm just asking Marquita. Do we do the vote for it at this place, or do we do it under action items approved? And
you can do it now, and that's fine. And by the time you get down to the new business, we just marked through that. So okay. That's fine. Yeah.
So now it's open to discussion.
Gabriella. Yep, I have a question. First, I love the idea. I think it's great, Bertha, to see us doing something out in the community. Is there a goal number of families or a goal number of housing insecure individuals that all of the advisory boards and commissions want to assist?
We don't have a particular number. That's a great question, Gabriella. We don't have a number. We're taking a guess at it. So in in my brain, I was thinking, if we were to divide $12,000 divided by 500 and another 500, because remember there's two different events, right? 500 homeless, let's say, and 500 families. So I think it comes out to about $11 per family. So it's kind of tight. So, but that's our portion, right? So there's other people adding. So I think 500 is reasonable. The other commissions are going to contribute a little bit. I think one of them, the Equal Housing Board, wanted to add another 10. So I think we have a good budget to work with, and I'm sure Marquita will use it wisely as to what people need. I don't think we'll get everything we want, but at least it's a good start. And I think 500 is reasonable. You know, we don't need to give them so it's better to help, in my opinion. I don't know, you guys are, please discuss, but in my opinion, it's better to help, let's say, more families with as many items as you can, as opposed to 10 families with $100 each. You know what I mean? I think we can spread the joy, kind of.
Berta, you meant 500 families, right?
500 families, sorry, yeah. Just giving an example, thank you.
Marquita?
Okay, and just some of the goals for each event, we're looking to reach 1,000 individuals for the first event and 1,000, serve 1,000 individuals during the second one, the drop off. So those were some of the,
Those were the numbers that was the numbers that we had in the thing, but I missed the meeting. I didn't know if you had changed it.
So I said 500 families, thinking there's two maybe,
Yeah.
but anyways, it's a ballpark figure. Hopefully the more the better.
Any other comments?
Well, I was
questions.
My concern is, are we contributing enough money? Is 12,000 enough? I'm also curious what we're going to be distributing. You mentioned food and PPE. So where is the food coming from? And are we looking at, getting Tyson chickens that we can give out, or fresh fruits and vegetables?
We haven't gotten, I missed the last meeting, but I don't think we've gotten that much detail. We'll bring that back.
Okay. There's going to be a list. Like I said, Demetrius is putting together a list of items. It won't be it won't be just food. It will be things that they needed, like non-perishable stuff. Because there's the food bank for other things, right? The food bank can give them, they could do their own event when it's not under us, right, Marquita? But I think, everyone on our board, on HRC board, and everyone who's volunteering, who's listening to this call I'm sure should be involved. If you care about our community, more people, you don't have to be on the HRC board to help. So I think we should keep everyone involved and informed about what they can help with. Or, if people want to go ask for, let's say, socks from Walmart, we buy, let's say, 100 socks, would you give us another 100 socks for free? That kind of thing, we can all kind of divide and conquer. And we do have time to do it because it's about 6 or 7 weeks away. So I think we'll be fine as far as time, but we just need to kind of be organized. Does that help a little bit?
It does. And is 12,000 enough? If we commit 12,000 and that leaves 10,000 more for us to spend through June, is that right?
Yes. Yes.
What else do we?
So right now, it's not just us, it's not just our budget. We're combining with other, and we don't know what that number is because everybody hasn't met. So each board and commission had to go and meet, like we're doing today, and put a number up and get it approved by the board and commission.
So, and also to add to Mary, so Mary and I were talking and we thought, well, let's just, we came up with 10 or 15,000 and we said, let's just meet in the middle. So if you guys feel like we can do more, that's fine. That means we just have to save the money for a different event, or to reach out to the community. It could be, this COVID thing might just drag on and on and on. So we need that other $1,000 to help out again.
Yeah. We don't know what else we might want to do before the end of June.
So, but that's open for vote. So you guys please feel free to add your comments. Tati, Keith, everyone, we'd love to hear from you.
When you mentioned that we could buy socks from Walmart and ask them to give us, to match the amount that we need, we need a letter before that. Because
Well,
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
tried
you
with
guys,
them and they're
you guys
very
are getting into
difficult.
the detail.
so that was just an example.
That was an
Tati.
example, Tati.
Okay,
Let's
sorry.
not, let's let the details stay with the committee.
Okay.
Not meaning that what you're saying is not valid. I'm just getting worried about time.
Okay.
And I don't want to spend, Dr. Caesar?
Oh, yes. So actually, Beata said half of what I was going to say in terms of soliciting help from other organizations. One of the things that I recommend is that you all mark it early and have a save the date and invite other organizations, other community partners and stakeholders to participate with you. So that's going to increase your manpower when you're actually delivering things or putting or loading up supplies into cars. And then I also wanted to mention, I think Mary and I and Demetrius had a conversation at one of the prior meetings, and we talked about food distribution. We had a number of staff at the convention center who've been laid off due to COVID because we haven't been having conferences and trainings. So one of the opportunities that you all have, and you can vote on this, is to utilize Centerplate through our convention center to create hot breakfast sandwiches or something that we can hand out, particularly for those folks who are displaced. So that was just another option to throw on the table for this group to think about.
Yep, I have that on the list.
Do they give us any discount, Dr. Sander, the center plate at the convention center, or can we use some of the smaller businesses? We can recruit, for example, talk to Greg Hayden, who has a bunch of restaurants, and we can support them at the same time, but get something for free. I'm just wondering, do we have a free or discounted rate with Centerplate? Because their breakfast is like $30 a person, and it's usually a muffin.
You guys are going into too much detail.
Just saying, so we can go forward. Dr. Caesar?
Yeah, I was holding back because Mary, I don't want to go into too many details here.
I
think that's something that we can discuss offline. Yeah, it's definitely something we can discuss offline. I don't know about discounts in particular, but I think I can set a meeting with you all so you all can talk to Centerplate and see what options they have available to you.
That's perfect. Perfect. All right. So as I said, I'm going to say this again. Any other comments? Any other discussion? I know I know I might have been a little rude, but I'm trying to move us forward. Please bear with me. All right. So so I'm looking for a proposal, a motion.
I make a motion for the $12,000 towards the budget, from our budget, to contribute to this project.
I second it.
All in approval? All approved?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Did somebody say they had a question? Okay. Any opposed? Okay. So it's approved for the 12,000.
Do we need to vote on the date as well, or did we all agree on that? Dr. Caesar?
It's already agreed upon.
Yeah.
Okay, good. We don't need to vote? Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
good.
No, our vote was really for this meeting was the dollars. All right. Thank you so much, Berta and Tati and Byron. And Byron, I guess you got missed off the last email. We'll make sure that you're included. I saw that. Okay, Communications Committee.
Tori, feel free to jump in if you feel like you need to, but we basically met to talk about the Unity video and what we are going to go forward with the city with when we have that meeting. The meeting was rescheduled. It was meant for today, but it was rescheduled today for another time. And Tori took a statement that we had from last summer, a solidarity statement with the protesters over the summer, and reworked it. And he sent a rough edit to possibly put on the Human Relations Commission's website. So that is being worked on as well.
So do we want to get that on the shared drive so everyone can look at it?
Yeah, it's just a rough edit right now. I was gonna look at it as well, and then I can send that.
Okay, when you guys are, when you're ready.
Yeah.
Okay, because I actually have it on a different computer, but yes, we can do that.
Yeah.
When you're ready, we can put it on the shared drive. That'll be a good exercise for everyone to use the shared drive.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Oh, I see that. Everybody's all excited about that.
Oh, and I just wanted to thank Tori for taking that on as well. Taking the first chance on that as well.
Oh, that's much appreciated.
So we'll have more to talk about in February on the Unity video.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody have any questions of the Communication Committee?
This is just one thing that sort of deals with communications internally, but it would be good if we had some type of contact list for each other.
We do.
Oh, we do? Okay. I just couldn't find it today, but that's good.
I'll reshare it and add it to the shared drive. Yeah,
Okay.
so you have it.
Byron, I have a question about the Communications Committee. I know we talked about maybe increasing our following on Facebook, Instagram, all those things. And I know Dr. Caesar's been working hard in her staff about building up what we had, because last year, this time, we really didn't have but 20 people, I think. But have you all thought of a plan to build up our audience a little bit?
You mean Tori or Trey? Yeah, she means Tori or Trey.
Yeah, we actually talked about that, and that's actually the main thing we've been focusing on, other than the video.
Mm-hmm.
Is how we can increase our visibility and put the HRC as a whole out there so that the community can see the work that we're doing. But we're still, I think Trey might agree with me that we're still sort of in the preliminary stages, but we're trying to figure out the best way. And part of that conversation has been trying to figure out what to do with the Facebook page that we have, or whether that might be some other form. So we definitely have talked about it, but we're open to any ideas that anyone wants to share.
So if anyone has any ideas that they'd like to share, use your contact sheet and send an email to Tori or Trey. I'm gonna keep combining all our things we have, so we're all using them. Okay, anything else? All right, Public Safety Committee.
Yeah, Mary, this will be pretty short, but we met on Tuesday. We had a very good meeting. Our attendance was pretty high. Well, one of the things that we talked about was setting a recurrent meeting date, which some other committees might want to think about, which I think will be good to help us to get that 100% attendance. And for substantively, we talked about, a lot of our work has been talking about how to reach out to other commissions, because it just so happens that public safety overlaps with a lot of different other commissions and departments within the city. So the top three that we've been focusing on have been the Police Advisory Board. We've already reached out to them. They've actually responded. And pretty much what they said in a nutshell was that they're very interested in attending one of our meetings and collaborating with us. However, they still need to get started. So they need to get their bylaws set and have a couple of meetings, and then they'll be ready to meet, but they're definitely very interested. During our meeting, we also talked about, and we prepared letters to the fire department and the police department, going directly to the chief of police and to the chief of the fire department and asking them to come participate. And we believe, we have every reason to expect that they will want to do that. And that will be a good start to talking about how we can work collaboratively with them. And then the rest of the meeting was devoted to the topic of public safety, and how that even though we've devoted most of our attention and energy towards the police and towards the fire department, which we think is right, how that we might want to expand that to other issues just given the circumstances. And so two of the main issues that have come up have been COVID-19 prevention and targeting those areas where we've seen a high percentage, as well as environmental justice, which just so happens to be the same places. So that's sort of where we're at on that. That's the public safety report.
Dr. Caesar just put in chat that we have 159 followers on Twitter, and we have 87 followers on Facebook. So Trey and Tori, if you look in chat and take that information.
Could you send me, is there a way we can get access to it? Because I don't have access to it at all, the page.
We can send you the link. You would have to send us information that you want to be posted because it is a city social media account. But you can access it there at Raleigh Community. And I think some of you have already liked the pages, and then
I've liked pages, yeah.
okay, and at RaleighCom for Twitter.
Okay, we'll get you guys connected in. All right, thank you, Dr. Caesar. Thank you, Tori and Trey. Two mighty, small group, but mighty.
The TNT.
Go, oh yeah, the TTs. For the communications. Public safety, thank you, Tori and Keith are on that committee, or chairing that committee, I'm sorry, the Public Safety Committee. Diversity Relations Committee. I don't know if you have anything else, Berta?
No, just I think what we talked about with diversity is maybe looking at all the committees underneath or what falls underneath the HRC and seeing what kind of diversity is on there. Maybe let's just say the, we talked about the Hispanic and immigrants board, for example, who is on their boards, to see if they're actually, if everyone is represented equally or fairly. So I think that was kind of a long-term project.
Byron was on that. Byron brought that in.
Yeah, he couldn't attend the meeting at the time. Byron, I think we updated you at the time what was said, but just something to think about. We don't have to vote on anything today. Just your thoughts are welcome always. If you have ideas, this is what we came up with. Is just kind of looking at the boards that fall under HRC and make sure that they are, diverse. Let's just say
actually it's a bigger than HRC boards. It's the boards and commissions in Raleigh.
I guess, yeah, we could do that. I mean, it's just some thoughts that we discussed, but yeah, please feel free to add.
What if we discover they're not? Then what?
We make recommendations, but we have to have facts. And remember, our primary is to review and look at issues that are inside of Raleigh and to make recommendations that are thoughtful and are supported to the city council. I mean, that is what we're here for. So if it's not, that's what we would want to let them, I believe they're aware of it, but it would be nice to have another reminder that, as you're as you're looking at the next opening, to think about what things look like.
Yeah, and to Byron's point too, where they talked about doing the African American board or Hispanic, or should we? So we have to think, or like a women's group. So we need to think about long term what we want that to look like under our our definition. But it's not anything we have to do tonight. It's just food for thought.
Anybody have any other questions or thoughts about the Diversity Relations Committee? Okay, we'll move to the Bylaws Committee. Chris, is Chris here? I don't hear him.
I
No,
don't
he's
think
not
he's,
in there.
He's not.
Mary, I don't think he's here, but as the other person on the bylaws committee, it's just the two of us. We did not meet
Okay.
or have
One
communication.
thing I'd like to give to the bylaws committee, I'd like to, and to everyone that's on the call, in your committee discussions, discuss the names of your committees. Some of these names are like 1970. So, you know, what are you actually really doing in these committees? That does the name reflect what you're actually doing? Can we have something that is more, so just food for thought. You might say this is fine, you know, but and if you do in your next meeting, just, you know, throw it around and see if everything works for you. If it doesn't, you know, think about some other names or something that might reflect your committee better. Because some of these, I think we could do better. Not saying what we should do, but we could do better. All right, nominating committee. We're going to have a meeting. We had one meeting. Avery, is Avery on? Avery and I got together, but I think we're going to have one next week. I'm going to get everyone, the two people that are on that committee together next week. Right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so that's committees. Thank you all for helping me get through that with not that. It's so nice to have good discussions under committee reports. I love it. Thank you all for your participation. This is wonderful. So the HRC, the old business was the HRC Unity video update, but that team, we didn't have a meeting with I don't think we have anything to update on that because the next step was to talk to the communication city person, right? Right,
that's all. So we were supposed to meet, I think, and they didn't show up today or something. It's not that they didn't show up, they had a hard time connecting, so we're gonna reschedule.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything for us to discuss in this meeting. That's what I'll say, right? We'll table this for next time. All right, so new business, the HRC work plan. Everyone have an opportunity to review the work plan. So this is our work plan for now until the end of June. I just want to, I hope everyone's had an opportunity to go through it. It just kind of gives who we are, our prior year accomplishments. Even with COVID, we were able to do a few things at the beginning of the year. Some activities, our activities for the next portion of time. The 3 focus areas that we discussed in our retreat. And I've got to make sure that we come back with the work that we're doing back to these focus areas. So when you're in your meetings, you know, let's make sure that we're still, you know, making sure we're covering something in these focus areas in the work that we're doing. Then it goes into each of the committees and some touch points on either what the committee will be doing over the next 6 months. It's very broad in some cases because giving some information about each of the committees, and that's about it. So we need to approve this. We, as our HRC, approves this work plan. It then goes to the city council and the city council approves or not if they have issues with something, but they do a review and approval. So actually our work for the year doesn't begin until this work plan's approved. But we're dealing with some things. I just realized something, and I'll leave it. I'll talk to Makita about it, but okay. So I need for a motion, discussion about the work plan.
Thank you, Mary, for doing I read the plan. It looks really good. And if everyone is okay with it after the discussion, I think we should move forward to it. I read it in its entirety and it looks really good, very detailed and very well written. Thank you.
Any other comments? I want to thank those that sent in comments or edits. I won't take all the credit. I think it was a community event putting this together, and I appreciate everybody for giving input into it and reviewing it. If you only just reviewed it and thought it was great, I love you for that too. All right, so I'll take a motion.
I'm making a motion to go ahead and approve it.
Second.
I second the motion to approve it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
No opposed. Motion carries. Thank you all for that. Any community events or anything that anybody wants to let everybody know about? King's birthday is Monday. I've gotten an email about some distribution events, you know, and I saw this and said, oh, this is great because everybody will have these big distribution events in January, and then ours will come at the end of February. So it's going to really kind of work out very well. But anybody else have anything, events or community or things that they know about that they'd like to share with the group?
I'd like to share that, you know, I work with the NC pre-K programs, and, you know, we still need children. And we also have our application for the next coming year in August online. So if anybody knows, you know, families that could benefit from the pre-K program, North Carolina pre-K programs, we'll appreciate it if they pass the word. I could send a flyer, you know, to Marquita, and maybe we could share it, you know.
Yes, you could use it as an example of using the shared drive. I'm going to plug that shared drive.
Oh God, I need a lesson first.
I'm going to plug that shared drive.
Okay.
What's the age? What's the age for the pre-K?
They gotta be 4 by August 31st of this year, because it's the year to prepare them, the year they start, before they start kindergarten.
Okay. All right. So if you could take that flyer and.
Okay. Marquita, we'll be talking.
Sounds good.
Anyone else?
Thank you for the opportunity.
I'm looking forward to getting a vaccine that changed the requirements, you know.
Oh.
They did. I'm eligible.
Anybody
too.
knows where I can get a vaccine, let me know.
Well, you know, I called today and they told me that they're not doing it for my age, that it's 75 and up.
No, they're
They
65.
just moved it today at 65.
That's what the headlines say, 65 and up.
Yeah.
When I called Wake County Human Services, that's what the lady told me.
Well,
they changed it today.
Well, somebody I know told me they got an appointment in like Franklin County, so it may be a good idea. Maybe we should go somewhere else. I stand a better chance of getting in line. Anyway, I'm excited.
Oh, very good.
I'll be able to leave the house.
Yay.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Don't forget your mask. Even
I have
with
a
the
question.
vaccine.
I have a question for the Public Safety Committee. Did you all discuss at all what's going to happen or the possibility of what's going to happen next Wednesday, this coming Wednesday? Is there any kind of update for the community maybe? I heard that there was 4,000 troops coming to downtown Raleigh. I don't know if it's true or not.
Unfortunately, we did not discuss that.
We didn't know.
Do you know? Do you have
haven't
any
heard.
information about it?
It didn't come up during the meeting, but I mean, if you want to.
Oh, no, don't worry about it. I'll research it. No worries. I just wondered. Thank you.
Anyone have any other remarks or things they'd like to share? Boy, it's 7:15. Tell me that ain't good. That's good. All right, everyone, thank you for your participation and your continued support with the HRC and things that you're doing in your communities and all the love, 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 love. Thank you all. And I love the fact that we got this done. I was really worried that we had so much that we were going to be so over, and I like nice meetings that work very well. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you. Good night.
Oh, wait a minute. Adjourn. We
Need a
have to
motion,
adjourn.
yep, to adjourn.
Motion to
Yeah,
adjourn.
Okay.
Move we adjourn.
Huh?
I move we adjourn.
A second.
Okay.
All right.
Second. Third.
Anybody opposed? We're adjourned.
Okay. Good night,
Thank you all for
everybody.
coming. Please,
Good night. Thank
reach
you.
out anytime.
Everybody.
Bye.
Stay there. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye-bye.